Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Vibes Were Off. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Meg.
And thanks for coming back. Today is a Catherine episode day today, so get excited.
Well, and I believe you told me, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a two-parter.
It's a two-parter. It is a two-parter. Yes, thank you so much. Nothing gives me more life than a two-parter. I gotta tell you. I know it gets long and tedious, but I like to write. So I sit down and then I'm just going. And I'm like, this has to be 2 parts.
Yeah. No, I love that for you. I think I could do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I get into a story and it feels like it's going to be too much, I'm like, I'll do something else.
No. Wait, back it out.
Yeah. Oh, nope, we'll save that for another day. So I think I just, maybe once I'm a little more confident, I'll go in for a 2-parter.
Okay, listen, I love it.
Okay.
I am ready. I am sat.
Yeah.
I will be here for as long as you need, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. With 3-parter.
Ooh.
Wait, so a 3-parter.
Dare we?
I was thinking, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yes.
And I think the longest I've ever heard was a 4-parter.
Yes.
But I feel like we can break that.
But do we need to?
We do.
Okay. You spent so long asking yourself if you could. But what? Should you?
You should. Fair enough. That's a thing.
Yeah. You know what? I enjoy, and you can make it as many parts as you want to, as long as it doesn't feel like fluff.
Yes.
Because that's the only problem I have with some of, if they're too long, I feel like you're just spending a lot of time on stuff that maybe isn't.
Like it was a fall day.
Right.
The leaves were orange.
Yeah.
Some of them were red.
We go into the backstories of people who are in the story for 2 seconds, and I'm like, why did I need to know their entire history?
Yeah. No, you didn't.
I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's my only caveat there.
Yeah. Okay, that's
if you're
fair
gonna
enough.
do it, make the information interesting.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I have an idea for my at least 3-parter, I'm guessing.
Okay.
And it relates to new true crime news. As in this month, 2026. Okay. So Utah officials have officially confirmed through new DNA technology that 17-year-old Laura Ann Amy was a victim of Ted Bundy.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's been dead for a long time. This was also a 51-year-old cold case.
Right.
And they were like, let's try this new DNA technology we have.
That's wild.
And bam, got him.
I want to hear more about that.
Yes.
I had not seen that.
He has so many victims, too. And
yeah.
That's when you could go into 3 parts and...
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And he has, escapes and recaptures and cars and boats and planes and trains. So we could do lots of that. But we'll see.
I like it.
Where I
this
end
is
up.
Just 2 parts.
This one
is
is
2
2
parts.
Now. Yeah,
okay.
This one's 2 parts.
And is it something I would know?
I feel like you might because there was a wonderful Peacock documentary about it.
Oh, okay.
With my favorite True Blood characters. It's Anna. Oh gosh, what did I say? Paquin. Yeah.
Paquin. Okay.
Yeah, and her husband plays a small role in it.
Oh.
What's his name?
I know who he is.
Yeah. The older, the not
Bill. It was Bill.
The not hot vampire. So it's hard to compete with
She's gonna end up with one of them,
right?
Go with the Skarsgård.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Skarsgård. But they were in this series.
Okay,
it is a 10-part series. It was really great. But this is the case of Jan Broberg.
I'm in. I'm sat. I think I know what you're talking about now.
Okay. This one. Okay, so fair warning. I found this one because I was in a deep dive on aliens.
Oh yes.
So I was like, ooh, add true crime with aliens. Perfect. But spoiler alert, stick around for our Patreon. I hope to get it up here in a couple of weeks. But I have another fun alien story for my first Patreon episode.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so trigger warning for kidnapping, child abuse, and rape.
Okay.
So I want to take everybody back to your childhoods. Okay? Everyone.
We're always good traveling back.
Yeah, we're traveling back in time.
Do I need to close my eyes for this?
You keep it open.
Okay.
But imagine where you were in like 6th grade. Okay? Where were you living? What was your bedroom like? What were your dreams as a preteen? What caught your attention? Did you have any siblings? Did you get along with your parents? Mm-hmm. You're going through all of these things. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's going through these.
I'm mostly thinking of like my inflatable furniture that we got from like Limited Too.
Limited Too.
Yeah. And my phone that I had. And then my
You
little
had a phone?
Yeah. It was like
When did you have a phone?
It was like you could put a little headset on.
Was it like Britney Spears' mic?
Yes.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Wait, did it actually work? Was it a real phone?
Yeah.
How did you
get
get a phone?
It was like a landline.
I did not have a phone growing up.
Well, I was the favorite.
Wow, she's the younger one too, everyone.
The technology came
Middle
around.
child never gets anything.
But I also had my little like what were they, like the hot hits with like the tiny little things that
it's one song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's good.
that's where I was in 6th grade.
Okay. So now that we're back when you're 12. Mm-hmm. You're hanging out with your friends. You're playing volleyball, right? Doing a dance class.
Volleyball.
Is that not what you call it?
Volleyball.
Okay. Welcome to the roast of Catherine.
You're doing great, sweetie.
This is fine.
I'm so sorry. Okay, keep going.
Should have expected it from the landline kid.
Is that what you wrote? Volleyball?
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
We're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so the trill of the school bell shakes you out of your daydream. You've been chomping at the bit to get out of school today. You and your best friend are going to go ride horses.
That's your
Isn't that
dream.
sweet. Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
That's 6th grade Catherine's dream.
Where are we going? Let's go.
Yeah,
right now.
Like you, a stranger, could come up and say, "We're gonna go ride horses," and she'd be like, "Okay, stranger."
Do you need me to help get in the car?
Yeah,
So we're going.
Kidnapped and done.
Perfect. So you just have to make it through your piano lesson, and then you're free to grab your favorite painted horse and let the wind blow through your hair. You've been looking forward to going to the stables all week, and today is the day. Please, Mom, please let me go, you beg. You got invited with your best friend, and the world will end if you don't get to go.
Yeah.
No, Jan, it's a school night, and besides, you have to go to your piano lesson. Your mother's face is stern, and you know it's going to take a miracle for her to change her mind, but you don't give up. For the next 15 minutes, you beg, plead, barter, and beg some more. My homework's already done, and I promise we won't be out long. You fold your hands in front of your face, forcing a few tears to drop. Mm-hmm. Definitely use that many a time. You pray she'll change her mind once she sees how much you need to do this. You keep eye contact, and you see her resolve breaking.
I would just, as this mother, I would have been like, "There's no other day that you can go ride horses.
This is it. It's a
gotta be
one and done offer.
today."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's fine, she finally relents, and you jump for joy. Like, I feel that so hard. I'm like, just leave me alone. Fine, go.
Fine.
Yeah. But you don't want to risk her changing her mind, so you sprint to the front door as she yells, "Be home before your father."
Ooh. So Dad does not know. Or maybe Dad already said no.
I promise, you yell over your shoulder and run down the street to your friend's house. As you arrive at their house, you jump in the car. You do get dropped off at your piano lesson and set a speed record for your playing. Thanks for taking me, Bee, you say to your friend as you drive towards the stables. Oh, don't forget to take your allergy medicine. Bee hands you the familiar capsule and you toss it back with some water. Thank goodness Bee remembered. You hate sneezing and snotting all over the poor horse.
So is she allergic to horses?
She is. Yeah. She actually
Thanks
is.
to such a deep passion.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you ride in the front passenger seat, you start to get a little sleepy. And your last thoughts are about which horse you will ride once you get there. Next thing you know, you're lying down on a bed and it feels like you're moving. Mm-hmm. What happened? It's a strange feeling, and you reach your hand to your forehead to rub an ache that is formed there. But you can't. Something is holding you down. You look at your arms and they're bound with rope. So are your feet. You start to panic, but that same sleepy feeling is once again weighing you down.
At this point, if I was 12 and this happened to me, I really would think that it was my parents trying to teach me a lesson.
Oh, shit.
I really do think that. Like, that would be my first thought. Because, like,
Mom is like, you fucked up.
well, because, like, it sounds like maybe she wasn't allowed to go by dad. Mom said, okay, but you have to be home. And then you
Right.
know that you weren't. It's, like, been too long. Like, that would be my first thought.
Jeez.
Which is maybe...
What kind of childhood did we have?
Not
Oh
that my
God.
parents would ever do that, but I'm just
But
trying
you
to
just
think.
think that that's the first thing
What
you would
else?
think.
What else would you think at 12?
Yep. The next time you awake, you're still on the bed, but your hands and feet aren't tied anymore. You groan as you sit up, your body's stiff. A crackling noise draws your attention, and you look over at a white speaker that is by your pillow.
Okay. Not like an alarm clock or
No, it's a
sound
speaker.
machine.
I
Okay.
need you to stay with me. Mm-hmm. Don't look at me.
Okay. Look away. I'll just make intense eye contact with the camera.
Female companion. Female companion. You are not human. Your mother is your real mother, but your father is one of us. You have a mission. You and the male companion must help us save our planet. You must have a baby with the male companion. Crackle, crackle, crackle.
Okay, listen.
Was that a good alien voice?
It was pretty good.
Okay.
But that's a lot of information
So much
to
information.
give, like, right off the bat.
Just woke up.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would feel like that's sus. But I'm also 12, so I don't know.
You're 12 and you're in, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
But you're in the 70s at the height of like alien sightings, alien culture, alien novelty.
It's got a whole culture.
It does. It does. Okay. So, how did we get here? To find out, we have to start at the beginning. Okay. So, Jan Broberg was born July 31st, 1962, in Pocatello, Idaho, to Mary Ann and Robert or Bob Broberg.
Bob.
So, Bob is adorable, and he owned a floral store, and Mary Ann was a stay at home mother to their children. Jan was the oldest of 3 girls. Her younger sisters were Karen and Susan. Still are. They're still okay. They're still around.
They're still her sisters.
Yeah. They were a devout Mormon family, and honestly, the quintessential adorable family.
I mean, a flower shop is pretty cute.
It's so wholesome.
I like
Like,
that.
they were the sweetest.
Yeah. Also, I just can't think of anything else when we're talking about a Jan. I'm immediately Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
So, like, that's who I'm
100%.
picturing because we're like the 70s.
for sure.
Yeah.
So they had dinner together every night at the dinner table. They gathered around the piano while their dad played, and they all sang. They told each other everything and loved each other wholeheartedly. That was until the early 70s when a new family moved into the neighborhood.
Okay.
The Birchtolds. Now this is going to get, I'm just going to lay it out now. The names are going to get confusing.
Okay.
So we have the Broberg family, that's Jan's family, and the Birchtold family,
Right.
which is
So there's both B's.
Both-
kind of weird.
both patriarchs are named Bob.
Okay.
Everybody's a Bob B.
Okay.
But we're going to call the good Bob is Bob and the bad Bob is B.
Okay. So there's a bad Bob.
There's a bad Bob.
Okay. I mean, obviously, if you've
Yeah.
got 2 Bobs, one of them
Right.
has to
One
be
of them
evil.
has to be evil. So, on initial thought, the Birchtoads were another seemingly perfect Mormon family. They met each other in church, and everyone got along instantly. The Birchtoads had 4 children around the same ages as the Brobergs, and their parents shared the same values. It was an easy friendship.
Yeah.
This led to the family spending many nights together playing board games and sharing meals, and after a few months, they were seeing each other almost every day.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, they were just right down the street from each other. You know, it takes a village.
Yeah. And you share the same religious
Yes.
convictions, so that helps.
So Marion would take all the children to school, and Bob Birchtold would help out around the Broberg's house. So it was a very, like, seemingly great relationship.
Normal. Yeah.
Bob Birchtold, who we will now refer to as B, owned a furniture store in town, and he was a skilled handyman. So
Okay.
between the two families, they're set.
Yeah.
They got everything they need.
That's awesome.
He was always there to help the Brobergs out, especially when he suggested that he could turn their open concept basement into separate rooms for the girls. Just one big area that they shared. And he was like, hey, I can put up walls and you can each have your own room.
And I'm sure they love that.
Oh, yeah. They loved it. You don't want to share with your sisters.
No, I mean, and as much as you love, like, you might love your sister, it's nice to have your own
especially
space.
when you're getting older. Like, you want your own space.
Especially for Jan. I'm sure she was very excited by that.
As I said, Jan was especially ecstatic about it. She was getting older and was excited to finally be in her own room. So Bea came over every day to frame, drywall, and paint the rooms to the girls' specifications. The children would frequently go in between houses. Now, this is the 70s, and kids were of the free-range variety, unlike us members of the anxious generation.
Yeah.
So, they were allowed to go out. The only guidelines were that they would either let a parent know or be home before dark.
Right.
And the parents were getting closer as the months and years passed. Not only were they best friends, but they were even closer than family. Bob Broberg, Good Bob, was a twin, and he found himself with his friend's family more than his own.
Aww.
So he's like, you're even closer to Bea than you are your twin.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Pretty close. Mm-hmm.
Almost too close.
Yeah. An example of this closeness would come in the fall of 1972 when Bea called Marianne from work complaining that he forgot to bring lunch.
Okay.
Marianne, being a sweetheart and a good friend, offered to make him a sandwich and bring it to him. Marianne liked spending time with Bea. According to her, he was outgoing and extravagant, a far cry from her very conservative husband.
So what was Bea's wife doing? Was she also a stay-at-home mom? Because, like, why couldn't...
She was raising the kids.
Okay. Why couldn't she bring him lunch?
I guess she doesn't know how to make a sandwich. I don't know. Bea would constantly flatter Marianne, and their friendship began to take an inappropriate turn.
Yeah, there it is.
We got there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Bea's first priority was always the children. He would make sure they were taken care of. His house became the cool place to hang out.
Mm-hmm. Wink, wink.
You come on over. The Broberg girls saw him as a sort of cool uncle. Karen would say that it was fun at his house because he would jump on the trampoline with him.
There's always,
the bar is so low.
It's a red flag, though, when a parent tries to be more of a friend than a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, red flag.
Yep. It was unfortunately that same trampoline that would be the first incident to happen to Jan.
Okay.
All 7 of the kids were at the Bergstolds having a sleepover, and they were allowed to sleep on the trampoline under the stars.
That would
Sweet.
be fun.
Fun, right? But in the middle of the night, Jan awoke uncomfortable. She couldn't put her finger on what was wrong, but she had an overwhelming sense of something being wrong or off. Her nightgown was tangled around her body, and Bea was asleep next to her.
Why is he out there?
He's the cool parent.
No.
Yep. But she ran inside the house where she ran into Gail, Bea's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Gail immediately comforted her after Jan told her something was wrong. And when Bob came back in the house, Bad Bob, she immediately took Jan into their bedroom and locked the door.
See, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. The next morning, everyone just ignored what happened and life went on.
But Jan just was like over it, or I guess Gail comforted her enough,
right?
Where
and she was like, "That was weird," but
yeah,
she's like 10 or 11 at this point.
Yeah, and she couldn't
what happened?
She couldn't really say what happened.
Right, something was just weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The cracks, though, started showing in June of 1973. Bea was taking his family to Seattle and wanted to bring Jan along.
Just Jan.
Just Jan, though. Nobody else from the Broberg family was invited.
Okay.
Red flags.
That's weird.
Yes. Now, back then, Bea would have been expected to ask Jan's father for permission. This is like, you have to ask the dad first. But he broke protocol and cornered Marianne at their home and asked permission to take Jan. All it took were a couple of compliments and some inappropriate heavy petting before Marianne agreed.
But you still have to run it past your husband, right?
Yeah, she didn't.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Later in the week, when Marianne brought up the trip at dinner, Bob was angry. He didn't want his daughter taken out of the state with the Bergstolds.
Yeah.
But after a short argument and Jan pleading to be allowed to go with her friends, Bob relented and allowed her to go. Because they're just friends. And like,
I get it, yeah.
These are the most wholesome people in the entire world.
And you're like, yeah, it's weird that only Jan's invited. But okay,
like, sure,
she's the
go
oldest.
Have fun. Right.
Okay.
It was around this time that B took Jan to the allergist, as he noticed that she would start sneezing and sniffling and wanted to get her seen by a doctor. Sure enough, after testing, it was determined that Jan was allergic to a whole host of things and was prescribed allergy medicine. B was even kind enough to pick up the prescription from the pharmacy the next day and bring it over.
No, if you think something's wrong with my child, I'm taking my child to the doctor.
They're busy. You know, they're out running around, running the floral shop. He'll help you out.
No, that's
Don't
weird.
worry about it. He's got it.
That's very weird. And like, I have the prescription. I'd be like, let me see the prescription at least.
No. They trusted him wholeheartedly.
And he just like hung on to her allergy pills.
Oh, no, he put them in her medicine cabinet in her room or her bathroom.
Okay.
So these allergy pills were something he would become steadfast in reminding Jan to take.
Which I'm going to guess now they are not allergy pills.
So with all the help that B was providing, Marianne began to see him in a different light. Wow, he's so helpful. There had been some flirting and inappropriate physical touching, but their relationship was about to turn into a full-blown emotional and physical affair.
Ugh.
Marianne describes this time as exciting, and she felt alive and young again with B. She started slowly with stolen kisses, and then they moved to oral sex.
Yikes.
Marianne commented that B was very sexually active and very knowledgeable. Which, can you imagine telling a Mormon woman in the 70s, like, hey, I'm going to go do this thing to you?
Yeah.
She's like, what's happening?
But it just like, I don't know, you can't sell yourself as like a wholesome Mormon family and then go and do that.
Yeah. So he was the one that introduced her to many new sexual ideas and activities. In January 1974, unbeknownst to anyone, and I mean literally nobody, because the Mormon church likes to keep their dealings internal, B was reprimanded by the High Council of the LDS Church because of an inappropriate relationship with a minor child, a little girl. He went and told the church that he was
he told them
sleeping with a little girl, having sexual relations with a child. I think this little girl was 10. And they were like, ooh, that's weird. So they sent him to a counselor in Idaho Falls for treatment. But that counselor sent him to a psychologist in California. It is here I want to pause for a bit to set the tone. I see your face, and I knew that was going to happen. So we are in the Midwest in the 70s. Mental health is not something anyone had even really begun to take seriously, and it is a completely foreign concept to anyone.
This isn't a mental health issue, though. This is pedophilia.
Well, they label pedophilia as a mental health issue.
It's not. I'm hot take. That's not a mental health issue. Okay.
They label it. But he's setting the scene because no one knew what this was. Nobody knew pedophilia.
Okay, but you know it's wrong to have a relationship with a 10-year-old. But you're not going to go to the police.
Nobody suspects that's happening, though.
But he told
the elders. But the elders were like, whoa, crazy. Go see the psychologist.
But, like, don't worry about the 10-year-old?
Right.
Nobody's worried about that?
Oh, no. Nobody cares. Nope.
Okay. I'm already angry.
Yeah, I know. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Okay, so he was referred to that psychologist in California. They were in the very infancy of discovering sexual perversion, and most counselors were ill-equipped to handle it. To put it into even more perspective, the FBI, who, spoiler alert, were eventually brought in, were not even made aware of the word pedophile, much less what that meant.
So I guess this is a good question, and maybe not something that you can answer, but I'm wondering, like, what the laws were around
There were
this.
None. There was nothing.
Protecting children.
Nope. No protection for children at all. Zero. Didn't exist. Okay. You could do whatever you wanted.
That doesn't. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was still, like, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it was still legal to beat your kids at this point.
Okay.
because they're your property. So you can do whatever you want with them.
Okay.
But the psychologist, oh, you're going to get mad. I'm sorry. The psychologist in California thought he had the solution to B's problem. We got it. He was given an audio tape and instructions.
No.
He would go on to tell the Brobergs that the instructions were that he had to lie down next to a female child, Jan, and play the tape. B told them that it was essential to his recovery. When they asked why, B told them that he had regular sex with his aunt starting at age 4, and that he needed to lie down next to a member of the same sex that had molested him to do his therapy. The Brobergs were a little skeptical, but this was a medical treatment ordered by a medical doctor, so they agreed, with the conditions that Jan already be asleep so as not to disturb her, he lay on top of the covers, and he keep the door open. B agreed, and therapy started immediately. Now, B would perform his therapy 4 or 5 nights a week for 6 months. And he always made sure that Jan took her allergy pill before bed.
Okay.
Would you like to respond?
I think that this therapy or this therapist, I don't know that they exist, or if they do exist, I don't think that they
are not board certified. No,
Right.
This was a complete quack.
But also, it had to be Jan.
It had to be
It
Jan.
had to be Jan. Okay. And nobody was
Over
like,
the covers, though.
nobody was like, this doesn't seem right. Nobody.
Well, they were like, it's weird, but it's a medical thing.
No.
It's a medical procedure.
I'd be like, how about you go find someone else?
Yeah.
And maybe not like a minor,
right.
but it had to be a 12-year-old. I mean,
it had to be a small child, yeah.
that doesn't make any sense either.
No.
If you were abused by your aunt, wouldn't it make sense to like be with somebody like your aunt's
woman?
No.
Yeah. No, it had to be a child.
I hate it. I hate it all. And like the fact that these parents didn't say like this is wrong, but it sounds like he was manipulating them in other ways already. So if they were like, "Oh, this doesn't seem right,"
Yeah.
he kind of had leverage on them.
Well, this is very interesting because this is before anybody had any information, but he groomed this entire family perfectly.
Sounds like it.
to a T.
Right.
He got the whole family.
Yeah.
And so he was like, he started slow, right? Like doing little things, and then he started to gain trust, and he started to get more and more and more. And then he has permission to lay in her bed every night.
It's weird.
And then you just keep going and going and going and seeing how much more you can get away with.
Right. Yeah, he gets to give her drugs and lay in her bed every night.
Right.
So,
Well, they genuinely thought that he was just listening to a tape.
No. Did they even listen to the tape?
They did not. They did not.
Okay. No, I call bullshit. I will not accept that as
Yes.
No.
I would like to say, because like blanket statement for this whole episode, I watched the making the documentary, and they brought out Jan's mother, and she feels terrible. Like, she admits she was very naive. She was very stupid. She allowed a predator in. She's very sorry. She seems very remorseful and very sweet.
Okay.
Jan has forgiven her, so we can forgive her too.
Okay. But you're
Okay.
still dumb.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And she admits it. She was like, she was being groomed, though, before anybody knew what grooming was. And she was in a bad, her only job was to protect her kid, and she failed.
Yeah.
100%. But
She had an affair with, it sounds like, the person who was abusing her child.
you're going to get even madder in part 2.
Yay.
Okay.
Let's get through part 1 first.
Yes. So the families continued to see each other frequently, again, almost daily, up into an incident with Bob Broberg. Good Bob.
Good, Bob.
Bob and B were out together one night, just hanging out, with bros, when B started to confess his problems to Bob. Now, Bob was an elder at the church, and B was his best friend, so he sat and tried to help his friend work through his troubles. B would go on to describe in great detail how much he loathed his wife and that he was sexually frustrated with her. She refused to be intimate with him, and it was driving him crazy. He told Bob that he, quote, just needed some relief. And then he could go back home and deal with his wife.
Yeah. And, it sounds like almost like he's trying to set him up to be like, can I use your wife?
Ooh, we'll see. Now Bob, who is an angel of a man, he's a florist and a dean,
Okay.
or no, it's not a dean, high up in the church. What is
Yeah,
it?
but
I don't know, elder.
Yeah, no, but see, an elder in LDS in the 70s, I don't like you.
Yeah, it's not being great.
Men are trash, and you're trash.
So he tried to help his friend as much as he could, and he suggested that B and his wife reconnect over the word
Okay.
of the Lord.
Okay.
And spend more time together, and they would naturally come back together as husband and wife.
Pause. Just real quick. Was he a part of the elders that Bad Bob confessed his crimes to?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That was like the top guy that he confessed to. But that's not what B had in mind. You see, B reiterated that he just needed some relief. And when Bob said he wished he could help him, Bree brought up a way he could help. Trigger warning, trigger warning. He said, quote, "It's just kid stuff," he said as he unzipped his pants. "You've done this with your friends before, right?" B pressured Bob. "You'll just be helping a friend out," he said as he pulled his penis out.
No.
She's gone. "There's nothing weird about it," B said. "Just a natural bodily reaction." B slowly reached over and grabbed Bob's hand, directing it to his penis.
No.
Bob would go on to help B release his tension from the passenger seat of B's car.
I'm uncomfortable.
You're very red.
I'm uncomfortable.
And just like that, B has all the leverage in the world over Bob.
What a like, psychotic power move is that?
Because Bob's like in the car, like we're people pleasers, but I fear not that much.
No.
Because he's just like, it's just kid stuff, Bob. It's just kid stuff. Don't even worry about it. It's not weird at all. We've all done it. I just need a little bit. Please help me. I need a little bit of relief.
I would have been like, you don't have hands?
Well, he needed like stranger.
No. I think like, I don't know.
This was fully calculated.
Right. But like as an
100%.
adult, there's just no way
Yeah,
that
like
you
a
could
grown man.
get me, like even me, like get me to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe a child, but like, I don't know.
Yep.
And I get like,
It happened.
I don't want to, I'm not going to feel bad for you, Bob.
I feel a little bad for Bob.
But I don't know. I just don't know how you get to
just
that point in life.
Well, because you're just talking to your friend, and then all of a sudden this happens, and you're like, holy shit.
Anyway, you're never going to get me to understand this here.
We are steadfast in
It
this.
don't make no sense.
Okay, well, now B has the ultimate blackmail.
Right.
On the Broberg patriarch.
Well, it sounds like on both of them. Mom and dad.
Right.
So, okay.
So B was staying busy, though. He had a wife and 4 kids at home. He was a business owner. He was spending most nights with Jan for his therapy. He was a dedicated church member, and he was carrying on a full affair with Mary Ann.
Yeah. He's
I
got
don't know
a
when he's
lot of balls
time
in
to
the
do
air.
anything. Right. But he still had time to plan out an elaborate plan to take Jan.
Okay.
On October 17th, 1974, B called up Bob and asked permission to take 12-year-old Jan horseback riding after school. But Bob said no. Fuck no, is what he said.
Well, yeah.
Stay away from my family.
Yeah. That's where he's at probably right now.
Yes, because this incident has already happened in the car. And he's like, no more.
And he's already kind of shown that he'll like push and push until he gets what he wants. Because he did that with like the trip that they went on or whatever.
Exactly. So Bob was emphatic that B was not to take Jan anywhere alone and that he needed to stay away from his family.
Okay.
Like, you're done. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. But B wasn't going to take no for an answer. He called up Mary Ann to ask her behind Bob's back. But even Mary Ann said no at first. She knew her husband's wishes and she didn't want to contradict him. But instead of taking that answer, Bob came over to the home and seduced Mary Ann.
Bleh.
He told her how much he loved her and how he was going to make a life for them and they could be together, but he just needed permission to take Jan for the horseback riding lesson.
What does that have to do with your relationship with, this is what doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
A lot of
and
it
you,
is just...
You just have to, I'm sorry, but you just have to be so stupid, so naive, so gullible.
She admits all of that.
Okay.
I could feel forgiveness in my heart for her,
Yeah,
but
I'll get
Jan
there.
forgave her. You
Yeah.
know, we'll get there. But no, it's going to get way worse before it gets better.
Right.
Just heads
That's
up.
I'm just frustrated. Okay.
Yeah, because how does a horseback riding lesson translate into you're going to build a life for us?
Right.
But after a while, Marian broke and gave her permission, but she made B promise that they would be back before Bob got home so they didn't have to tell him Jan went with B. So now we're keeping secrets from our husband.
Right. Not great. And like when you're keeping your like affair a secret,
Right.
that's
It's
one
a
thing.
lot.
But now it's something with
Involving
your
his
child.
children. Yep. Jan, of course, was over the moon excited. She got home from school. She went to piano class. Jan could hardly sit and focus because she was so excited. When B arrived almost 10 minutes early, Jan ran out of her class and straight to his car. She jumped in and excitedly took her pill B offered her. As they drove, Jan noticed that she was getting tired. She expressed her concern to B, who told her to just take a nap until they got there and he would wake her up. So Jan drifted off. She woke up slowly. It took her a few minutes to work up the effort to open her eyes, and the first thing she noticed was that it felt like she was moving. She thought she was still in the car, though, but now she was laying flat on her back, so maybe not the car. She opened her eyes and tried to grab her head again, but they were tied down. Her arms were tied down. And she noticed that she was laying on a large bed and that her legs were tied. She started to panic and thrash around, but the rope was tied tight and she couldn't get out. So she had no choice but to lie there until she fell back asleep.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, she like wore herself out trying to get out of the ropes.
Yeah.
So there was nothing she could do. It went on this way for about 3 days.
Just listening,
Of
just hearing
driving and being tied up.
and hearing the alien voice.
No, not yet.
She
We
hasn't
have
even.
not gotten.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Wow.
So she would wake up, still be bound, and fall asleep crying. Eventually, though, she was woken up by that crackling noise. So she slowly rolled over and wiped the sleep from her eyes, then realized she wasn't bound anymore. She was free to move around. But that's when she heard the alien voice come over the white speaker that was next to her pillow. The voice kept calling her the female companion.
Right.
It was then that the white speaker explained that she was not full human. Her mother was her real mother, but her father was one of them from the alien planet. And that she had a mission she had to complete. Their planet was dying, and she was the only one who could save them.
Right. Because that makes sense.
A 12-year-old
Yeah.
is holding the power for the planet.
Right. Well, and it's like,
Yeah, we don't blame her at all. 100%. This is not her fault.
but like you can tell from the get-go that it's messed up because they're trying to be like, oh, your mom is fine, but your dad is not your real dad.
Exactly.
So like you don't trust him. He's not even related to you.
Exactly. So they tried to explain it to her in terms that she might understand. So they related it back, because she was Mormon and very religious, to the story of Jesus and the Virgin Mary, and that Jan would be hailed as a hero and the savior of their planet.
Question though, isn't it like, I mean, I'm not a part of like the LDS church, but do they believe in aliens?
Kind of. She does. She's 12. Yeah. She believes in aliens.
Okay. I mean,
Well,
I just
also,
don't think that's
I'll
like,
explain it a little bit more, but he's groomed her to believe in aliens.
Oh, okay.
It's been a couple of years of him dropping alien stories.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense then.
So they explained their names were Zeta and Zethra, and that they would help her complete the mission. She was instructed to find the male companion, and he would show her what they needed to do so that she could have the savior baby. Once the voice stopped talking, she very slowly got up and moved off the bed. There was a curtain partition at the end of the bed, and she opened it, and she recognized that she was in an RV. Can you imagine? It was like, okay, we're in an RV now? Her attention landed on an unconscious and bloody bee who was lying on the couch. She ran to him crying and tried to wake him up. She shook him, and he jumped up and act confused.
Oh, no, where am I?
Oh my God, where are we?
Right, he's a victim, too.
Oh, yes. He was abducted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he asked Jan where they were and how they got there. So Jan quickly explained to him what the aliens had told her, and just B was astonished. He was like, "What do you mean we have to have a savior baby? Oh my gosh, we can't do that." He said he remembered driving and there was a bright light, and the next thing he knew, he was on this couch.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what had happened back in reality.
Yeah.
What actually happened. So earlier that day, B had sold his furniture company.
Okay.
And we need a red flag.
I am angrier than a beaver in a pond full of printer paper.
Yeah. Well, so what was going to happen if he didn't get to take her?
He was
horseback riding?
he was going to take her no matter what.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. He went to the bank and withdrew thousands of dollars in cash. He then went to a semi-secret storage unit that his wife kind of knew about, where he kept a secret RV that she did not know about.
Perfect.
And placed it in a secluded area. He had then taken Jen's capsule of allergy medicine, dumped it out. It's like dumped it out and replaced it with sleeping powder. He then waited for Jan to fall asleep and drove to that secluded area and staged a lame kidnapping. I say that because the police were quickly able to ascertain that it was a staged scene. That's because B had broken the window out from inside the car as opposed to outside the car.
Oh, okay.
So they're
his car. Mm-hmm. Okay. He was trying to make it look
it look like an accident and they got kidnapped.
Okay.
But he broke the car window out from the inside, and they were like,
that doesn't make any sense.
He clearly staged the scene.
Yeah.
Like, he took the girl. They were very quickly, like, the police were like, this is a kidnapping.
Yeah.
It was the parents that were like, no.
He couldn't have done that.
No. Let's not tell anybody yet.
Okay. He'll come back.
Yeah, exactly. There was, however, a lot of blood at the scene, all of which belonged to B. There was one set of footprints to tire tracks, and police suspected that he carried Jan to throw off the police. He then drove them towards the Mexican border. That's where he staged the discovery and awakening moment for Jan.
Okay, so now they're in Mexico.
They're close.
Okay.
They're not in yet because he has to get her to comply to make it through.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because he's assuming they know already. He's assuming the FBI is waiting for him. So it's also of note here that B had spent the previous years encouraging Jan to watch space shows and taking her to a space-themed hamburger place. It was her favorite restaurant. And then telling her stories of alien sightings, so Jan was primed and ready to believe that she had actually been abducted.
I hate this man so much.
I mean, this was years
Yeah.
of him grooming her. Back in the RV, B had accepted what Jan told him with no reservations, if you can believe it. He's like, all right, well, aliens, let's get to work. Yeah. In fact, he pulled out some books from the cabinet and gave them to Jan to read. They're all books on sexual activity.
Convenient.
Just right there. 3 of them. Here you go.
Okay.
He then told her they needed to drive and that she needed to pretend to be his son so they could go through Border Patrol.
Red flag.
Care about something else.
Yeah.
Come on, Jan.
She's 12. Ugh. But B had made sure to grab his son's birth certificate along with stealing Jan's from her house. Remember that because that will be important later.
How does he have her birth certificate?
He knew where Marianne kept it, so he took it.
Why are you even talking about your child's birth certificate?
They explained it in the documentary. I think he asked her about where an insurance policy was or something. And so she had a box with all the important documents stuff. And he saw it when she opened the box. So they made it into Mexico successfully and settled in Mazatlan in an RV park. B made sure to give her allergy pill every day and instructed her on the way to make a baby. They went out and explored the city and spent a lot of time at the beach, but every day he would take her back to the RV and rape her. He was careful, though. It's gross how good he was at this. Trigger warning, it's going to get graphic. So he tried not to hurt her, and according to Jan, he would only stick about an inch of his penis inside of her. Reminder again here, Jan is 12 and prepubescent.
Right.
And she still has her hymen. So I think he did that on purpose so they wouldn't be able to tell.
But also,
But you're not going to have a baby.
yeah, how you going to make a baby?
Well, he didn't want to have a baby with her. He just wanted to rape her.
Right.
So this went on for weeks. Weeks.
Ugh.
She's in Mexico with him. When she grew upset about the repeated assaults, the speaker would crackle to life and say that she needs to, quote, ask the male companion to do what makes people happy.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Ugh.
It also told her that if she didn't have the baby, that there would be serious consequences. Her middle sister would go blind, her father would be eliminated, and that she understood that to mean that he would be killed, and that her younger sister, Susan, would be tapped to take her place and have the baby. Her younger sister was a baby.
Right.
Like 6 or 8.
Ugh.
Because new info had come to light, and Susan is now half alien as well.
Right.
So that was
How
his
convenient.
final, because they think he was just up at the front of the RV with a microphone or something and just saying it into the speaker. But when she was like, please don't rape me anymore, he was like, okay, well, I'll just go take Susan.
Right.
And so she was like, nope, it's fine. We can keep doing it.
Ugh. Monster.
But Jan was getting homesick, and I think B knew that there was going to be a limit on how long he was able to keep her hidden.
Right.
Back in Pocatello, her family was getting increasingly frantic, though.
Yeah.
So, let's go back to the day Jan disappeared.
Ugh. Okay.
Buckle in. Marion was watching the clock like a hawk, and 6 o'clock came closer and closer. Jan wasn't back, and her husband would be home any minute. When Bob came home, she was able to distract him for a little bit, but when Jan failed to come home to the dinner table, he knew something was wrong. Because again, they had dinner every night with each other. So Marion had to tell him that she had allowed B to take Jan, and Bob was pissed.
Yeah.
He was like, what the fuck? I said no.
Right.
You don't get to tell him yes.
You just went behind my back.
So he went straight to the phone to call Gail, Bad B's wife, and find out where they were. Now, Gail had no idea, and B had failed to come home that night as well. Bob was ready to call the police, but Gail talked him out of it
Why?
because she didn't want to make a stink if he just showed up tomorrow.
But your husband is missing.
Yes, your husband's missing, and my baby's missing.
Right. My first
Who
thought
cares?
is if they're not home, they must have been in an accident.
Right.
Right? Because,
Well,
that's the only thing that makes sense. So why not call the police sooner rather than later?
yeah, so she reasoned that they were probably having car trouble, but they would be back in the morning.
No, you don't sleep overnight.
Right, if you're
In
having
your
car trouble.
That doesn't make any sense.
But the Brobergs agreed. The last thing they had on their minds was that B would hurt Jan. That's it. They were like, he's not going to hurt her.
Right. And I can see, yes. But, then your other option is they're in trouble.
Right.
So why are we
Go
not
help
calling
them.
the police?
Yeah. But when the next morning came and Jan was still gone, the Brobergs called Gail back. I don't know why Gail's the first call, but
I don't
she
know
is.
either.
She asked if she could come over and they could have a chat. I was like, no, stay at your house. But when she came over to their home, she theorized there was probably a good idea or a good reason for why they weren't back yet, and that B would protect Jan no matter what. Gail begged them not to call the police and just wait through the weekend.
It doesn't make any sense. Why
She's protecting him.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, she knows exactly. She pretends and she goes on to be like, I had no idea. She knew exactly what was going on, and she was just hoping that B was going to bring her back.
yeah.
She didn't know that they were going to stay gone. She said they would for sure be home by Monday. Marianne, though, called the local police and asked if there had been any accidents reported involving B's car. They said they hadn't found the car yet, but alarm bells were going off in Marianne's head, and she dialed the local number to the FBI.
Okay, good.
Great.
But did she wait till Monday?
But since it was a Saturday, she
Okay.
got the answering machine. She left a message and prayed that Jan would be back before they got a chance to call her on Monday. But Monday morning came and Jan was still gone.
Yeah, shocker.
So he's gone, everybody. She was expecting a phone call, but instead 2 agents appeared on her doorstep.
Dang.
They were like, "Oop, nope, we know this is bad." So they set up a command center in her house, and the search for Jan began in earnest. They would find no leads for weeks. They had
That's
no idea.
crazy.
Weeks. B was gone, and he had successfully found a way to hide Jan. I will also say, this entire time, Gail's like, "You're blowing it out of proportion. Like, nothing's wrong. Everything's fine."
That's the woman with her head buried in the sand.
Well, she has 4 kids.
Yeah.
She's like, this can't be happening. She doesn't work. You can't take away all that.
So how long did it take them to realize that, like, he had sold his business? He had taken out all this money?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Oh, gosh.
That was until November 20th of 1974 when B called his brother, Joe. He wanted Joe to go to talk to Mary Ann only and procure permission from him to marry Jan.
No.
Marry a 12-year-old.
And, like, out of the blue.
Hey, I need you to let me get married.
Right. But also, like, his poor brother.
Yeah,
It's like
he wanted nothing to do with this.
Right. Like, you know, you've got to know at this point because, like, the police have come and talked to you. Like, do you know where he is? Like, you... And then he just calls you up and says, "Hey, I need you to go talk to her because I want to get married."
You're like, "Oh,
to the girl
shit."
that I
Yeah.
kidnapped.
So B told him that since the Brobergs had involved the FBI, there was no other option to get Jan back to the States, and he wouldn't even entertaining bringing her back unless he was able to marry her.
It's their fault.
It's their fault, 100%. He was gonna bring her back, but then he found out the FBI was involved,
Yeah.
and so he couldn't.
I don't know why everybody's freaking out.
Like, calm down. But we'll just get married. It'll be super chill.
And that's going to protect you.
Yes. Joe reluctantly called the Brobergs to give them B's demands, though he was insistent that he wanted nothing to do with the situation. The Brobergs said absolutely not and refused to give their permission to marry their 12-year-old daughter off to a 28-year-old man.
Yeah, because gross.
Gross. Little did they know, though, but B had already married Jan in Mexico.
Right, but, like, if he comes, like, nobody's going to take that.
Right.
So
No,
he
but they're
needed
good
them.
in Mexico, but he needed it wouldn't
Right.
The marriage wouldn't be legal in America. Of note, the legal age of consent for wedded matrimony in Mexico in 1974 was just 12 years old.
That was lucky for him that he picked Mexico.
Isn't it? Can you imagine, like, I have an almost 12-year-old getting married? Oh, God. No.
Wild.
And he had even given Jan a wedding ring.
Oh, how sweet.
The silver lining here is that the FBI knew that B would be expecting a response, so they tapped Joe's phones
Oh, good.
and waited for him to call back. When he eventually did, they were able to track his location and worked with the federales to go and get Jan.
Yeah, you idiot.
They tracked him so easy. Soon after, in the middle of the night, police busted into the RV and pulled Jan and B out and took them to a small van. Both of them were flanked by officials, but B was able to make eye contact with Jan in the rearview mirror, and he gave Jan a look that said, "Don't say a word."
Well, and
she didn't.
no, because she thinks this is all still real.
Yes.
Probably.
Well, her sister's going to go blind.
Right.
Her dad's going to die, and her sister will be taken in her place.
Right.
They were taken to separate jail cells, but B quickly bribed one of the guards with his gold wedding band to get a few minutes alone with Jan.
That's so fucked.
Seriously. Like, you just pulled this man off of a baby, and you're like,
You know
you got some gold, right?
You know that this child has been kidnapped
Yes.
by this man.
Yeah.
Okay.
He told her how much he loved her and that they would still be able to complete their mission, but stressed that there were 4 things to remember. 1, don't talk about Zeta and Zethra at all. No alien talk. 2, don't talk about the mission or the baby or any sexual contact. 3, don't talk about the relaxing pills. And 4, she was to have no contact with any boys or men at all. And that included her father.
Okay.
She was not allowed to have boys or men touch her. If any boy or any man touched her, all those things would happen. Her sister would go blind, her dad would die, everything. Oh, and now, he told her, she would also be vaporized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
not only her body, but her soul would be vaporized and that she wouldn't be able to go to heaven. So she was terrified.
This man,
So B was taken away and some Mormon missionaries were brought in to comfort Jan. Jan talks about it later and she's like, those Mormons, man, they mobilized so quick to get Demi because she was in Mexico and her parents were far away. But one of the elders called another elder who knew how to get missionaries to her. They were with her like within an hour.
Wow.
With McDonald's.
That's nice.
Yes. And they waited with her. It was very sweet. Yeah. So
Except
Jan
he had already gotten to her. So
yes. Jan was taken home against her will because she wanted to stay with her husband and she was mad she was being taken away from him. She was also terrified that if she didn't complete the mission, people would start dying. Berchtold, meanwhile, was charged with kidnapping and was extradited to the United States. B got an expensive criminal lawyer to represent him, as all monsters do, and Jan was taken for a medical exam. The doctor said there was no signs of sexual abuse and that her hymen was still intact.
Ugh. And she can't talk about it, so...
No, and she actually denied there was any abuse at all. She was like, nothing happened. We were just hanging out on the beach. Nothing happened. Then B's attorney brought the Brobergs into her office and presented them with an affidavit to sign. It outlined the following. These are all going to be quotes here. My daughter was not taken by force or against her will, nor was she held or confined against her will at any time in the company of the defendant. I honestly believe there is a strong possibility that the defendant was under the impression he had my husband's and my consent to take my daughter with him when he left in October. I have the right under the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution to keep these matters within my family. I feel that the interest of justice in society would not be served by continuing to prosecute this matter. I do not wish to testify against the defendant.
Sure. Okay.
And after reading it over, they were appalled and they
Right.
refused to sign. They're like, that's not true.
That's not what
He
happened.
kidnapped my daughter.
Right.
But then this swarmy lawyer told them that if they were forced to take this to trial, they were going to have to tear the Brobergs apart. They would expose Marianne's affair and Bob's homosexuality. They would also actively try to prove that they were unfit parents and take their daughters from them.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Well, they were like, you knew he was sick. That's what the lawyer was like. You let him lay down with your daughter every night. Like, this is your fault. This happened, basically. But they were both scared. And so both of them signed the affidavit.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I'm not shocked by that.
I was shocked. I was like, at that point, don't sign that shit.
No, it doesn't shock me, but what still I'm like doesn't make any sense is like the FBI was involved. They were with them. They were part of it all. They know that those people,
Yes.
like they know that she was kidnapped.
Yes. Yep.
So,
Yeah, then they had to go tell the FBI what they did. So to say the FBI was pissed would be an understatement.
yeah.
They were able to get the Brobergs to recant 3 days later, but the affidavit in the case were pretty much dead in the water.
Right.
Bob and Marianne were bombarded with angry phone calls, and they were dragged through the mud for the way they handled the situation. Which, like, fair.
Like
Yeah.
how is the bad Bob not at the center of this? It's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. But he spent so many years setting them up for this moment.
Ugh.
Yep. And because of the affidavits, B was released on his own recognizance and his trial was delayed. The case against him was falling apart and they had no cooperating witnesses.
Yeah.
He would eventually be sentenced to 45 days in jail for his crimes. That's not even the amount of time that he had Jan.
Right.
So there it is.
Okay.
But with time served, he only would spend 15 days in jail. But he vowed the next time he took her, he wouldn't get caught.
Yeah. He's going to think it out a little bit more.
And that's the end of part 1.
Ugh. hate him.
What did you think about the story?
Yeah. I know some of it, and I kind of remember some of it, but it's so infuriating.
There was a lot of, I mean, when you read it back, there's a lot of points this could have stopped. Right. There's a lot of red flags.
A lot of red flags.
But, Jen's parents would say they were very naive. They were very dumb. They got caught up in a situation, but your daughter was kidnapped and raped for months.
Right. So, and you were more worried about your reputation and what would happen to you than actually protecting your daughter. That's the part that
That's what it boils down to.
Right.
Because why'd you sign that paper?
Right.
Why?
Like, you could have said in an open court, like, yeah, I admit to, like, this man took advantage of our whole family.
Yep.
Like, he's been setting this up for a long time to get to our daughter.
Yeah.
But
and they're not done with each other.
No.
These two families.
I'm sure they're not.
No.
Okay.
We'll tune in for part 2 to see what happens.
Yeah, thanks so much for
after
that.
this. All right. I know the vibes were off in that story.
Very off. But they are always on here with us.
Thank you.
Love ya.
Bye. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube.
You can also find us on Instagram at The Vibes Were Off, TikTok at The Vibes Were Off Podcast, or good old-fashioned email at thevibeswereoff@gmail.com.